Hi, and I'm back with another wonderful presentation put together by your BMHS PBIS team. So we're going to get started with Chapter 7 of our Teach Like a Champion book, and this kind of falls within our Honoring Yourself and Others category. Now, I have to be like completely honest here. Although I hit the wrong button. Although I have read, here we go. Although I have read this chapter, I'm a bit rusty on it, and Amanda Celine put together these beautiful notes for me that I'll be kind of reading off of while we go through because I played hooky for the last meeting. Bad person. Okay, so we're going to get started with Chapter 7 here, Building Character and Trust. Starting with Technique 43, positive framing. So the best thing that he suggests to do is to live in the now. Don't talk about things that students, should have done before, or this is what you're going to need to later. Like, talk about the things students are going to do right now to kind of keep them focused and actively engaged. Assume the best. So don't attribute ill intention to what could be the result of lack of understanding. So if a kid isn't following directions, they'll be like, why are you not listening to me right now? Didn't you just hear what I said? Maybe they didn't just hear what you said, because sometimes we check out and we don't always actually know what's going on. So just assume the best and just give the student the shadow of the doubt that they really legit didn't hear you. Allow plausible anonymity. That's fun to say. So basically, don't single students out. So if there's an issue in the classroom, although can I pick on Jarrett Druding? I love Jarrett, so I'm going to pick on him. Jarrett is one of our students who did not do the reading last night and therefore will not be participating well today. You want to say something positive like, okay, well, some of us may not have gotten all the way through the reading or really fully understood what it was about, so let's take a few minutes to review before we go on to the next activity. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so don't single kids out. Build momentum and narrate the positive. So draw attention to the good and the getting better. So everybody bombed the quiz. We're not going to be like, oh, why did I come to work today? You guys have no respect for me or anything I have to say. So we just want to say, hey, so, the quizzes didn't go as well as we wanted them to, but that just means that we're going to get a lot better at this skill, as we go through the class. So just kind of keep things positive and, challenge them. We didn't do so hot the last time, but that's okay because we're going to compete today with ourselves to see if we can set our new personal best for the day, okay? So that is positive framing, technique 43. The key idea is to make corrections consistently and positively, narrate the world you want your students to see even while you are relentlessly improving it. So you can see this in action in video clip 19. Our next technique is technique 44, precise praise, which is quite alliterative. Okay, so the big thing here is to differentiate acknowledgement and praise, because we know that praise can be incredibly harmful for students. Great job, every single time becomes meaningless, and kids actually start to feel more negatively about themselves if you overly praise them. So basically recognize when expectations have been met and praise when the expectation has been met. So this thesis statement met all of the requirements, and therefore this is a great thesis statement. Okay, praise and acknowledge loud and, I don't know what this, fixed soft. Okay, I better look at my notes here. It says, whispering or non-verbally reminding students allows them to self-correct without being called out in public. Keep the students off stage and make the teacher appear in control. So basically, instead of, if a kid's not doing what you want them to do, don't give them the full attention. Don't divert the whole class to stare at that kid. A, because the kid might use that attention to continue to be negative, and B, because that just makes them feel crappy, and then they're way less likely to listen to what you actually have to say. So the kid who's sitting in back picking his nose, texting or whatever, don't be like, hey, back there, quit picking your nose and texting. Just continue with what you're doing, then pull the kid aside, psst, how about not doing that? Okay, so then praise must be genuine. So if it's a really mediocre assignment, don't be like, wow, great job. You want to say, hey, I see how you tried here, but here's how you get better for next time. So give the kids constructive feedback and name specifically what they did well and be specific about what they can improve upon. Let me see if I missed anything from my notes here. Nope, I think that pretty much covers it. So we're going to move on now to technique 45, warm/strict. I was trying to make this one word rict, but that doesn't work. Okay, so warm/strict. So explain to students why you are doing what you are doing. So essentially, nope, just this is what I'm doing and here's why. Boom. Distinguish between behavior and people. So you don't want to say when I pick on Jarrett in my second block class, like I don't want to be like, oh, bad kid Jarrett. If I am talking to him like quietly and discreetly one-on-one about the choices that and he's actually a really wonderful student. We love Jarrett. Okay, but if he were being like maybe making poor choices that day, I'm not gonna be like, dude, you're just like a crappy student, and like you're always like the kid who turns in work late and just doesn't do what I asked him to do. I'm gonna say, Jarrett, I really like you, and I'm wondering why you're making such poor choices right now. So, like, separate the student from the action, essentially. Demonstrate that consequences are temporary, so a kid doesn't feel like they've permanently failed or, like, permanently lost their ability to do well with you, like, personally or with their class. So, let me see if I missed my notes. Okay, so basically once they've dealt with the consequences, get over it. Okay, tomorrow's a new day, and treat them just like equally as great as you would if it were the first day of class and they had done nothing at all to piss you off. Okay, use warm nonverbal behavior. So have like open body language, put an arm around the student, well, ask permission, but Doug Lemoff says, put your arm around their shoulder, bend down to their eye level, like, hey champ, how's it going today? Just look like you actually are enjoying being in class and that you want to be there and that you like being with the kids. So, technique 46, moving on. The J factor, which stands for the Jana factor. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so the J factor, fun and games. We all love that, right? I think J stands for Jeopardy because that's like the easiest way to incorporate a game into class in my experience. But find activities that draw on kids' love for challenge, competition, and play. What is this us and them? Us and them. Create a fun culture in your room that is unique to that classroom, and it reinforces the idea of us, which is essentially building class community. Like we know that, in Mr. Flynn's class, like we're going to have this awesome A-Push Jeopardy review like every Friday for review, and this is like us. This is like our thing or whatever. Okay, drama, song, and dance. Some of us may be better at this than others. Me, not so much, but drama, song, and dance. These raise spirits and establish collective identity. So I think what they mean by that is if you have like, it's the grammar song, or just do something that's kind of like unique to your class that you can incorporate in, or like, I'm trying to think of, okay, like I did a Stalin dance once. Like, not gonna lie, we have a Stalin dance that involves a mustache. It's pretty fun. So, and that kind of leads into the next thing, to incorporate humor. So, like, when it's appropriate, whatever is comfortable with your personality, like, I can't try to be as funny as some of the, like, really funny teachers in the school because it's not me and I'll just look stupid because I'll, like, fall down and, like, break my arm or something. But, something humorous that's genuine to you is a great tool to use in the classroom because it keeps everybody positive and up. Suspense and surprise. What do my notes say? Routines are powerful drives of efficiency and predictability, so they make the occasional variations that much more fun and silly. So if there's like, okay, I know that every day we do a journal, but today instead of me putting it on the board, it's going to like pop out randomly during class and, just to do something different, kind of shake things up, I think is where he's going with that one. Where'd the rest of my notes go? Oh, look, you can see it in action. Video clips 20 and 21 in your book. And finally, we have technique 47, emotional consistency. So be mindful of your language and tone. So you don't want to be like, great job, kids. You guys are just like the best class ever. Because they're not going to necessarily get that verbal message if you say it that way, right? Think carefully about your implications. So if you call out a student like by name, like if I really did pick on Jarrett as badly as I have during this presentation, what's that going to do to our relationship? And what's that going to do to my ability to actually teach him? Because he's probably not going to be very receptive, right, to what I'm saying. And then the goal is to have a consistent relationship with productive behavior. So if I'm consistently treating all students with equal respect, giving them the benefit of the doubt, not being overly negative, in fact, trying really hard to be positive with them, they're going to come in every day with a positive attitude. They're going to know what to expect from me, and I'm more likely to get constructive and productive results, basically, with the students. So that brings us to technique 48. Explain everything. That seems to be a big theme in everything in Teach Like a Champion, is just give the students the rationale for everything you do. Expectations should be clear, rational, and logical. So get all like Spock on the kids. Remind students why they do what they do. Just even if it does become a routine, you want to say like, again, guys, we're doing our journaling this morning because it's a really great way to exercise our vocabulary, to kind of flex that creativity muscle in our brain so we get better at it, and to improve our writing skill. Just explain what they're doing. Have a clear mission. It's like why we post our objectives on the board and things like that. Like, this is where we're headed. This is what we're doing. It's cool. Hang in there. You guys are going to be great at this. Right? Maintain pace. So don't be like, oh, here we're going to do like 50 things today and nothing tomorrow. Like, so again, just keep things like calm and clear and consistent so the kids know what to expect and they're in a safe, comfortable working environment. And happens before behavior occurs. Definitely don't know what we typed that for, but what I'm thinking that means is that be proactive. Like if you know that, maybe your seating chart isn't perfect and you know that during this one group activity today, kid X and kid Y are like totally going to do nothing because they're just going to chat the whole time. Just be like, hey, I think, you might be really much better in this group because they could really use your expertise on this. And I think you should really go with that group because you are just such a good, task person, or whatever. So that is technique 48. Technique 49, normalize errors, okay? So if it's a wrong answer, don't be like, oh my God, you suck! Okay, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be like, oh, it's okay, whatever. You want to find that sweet spot where you're like, hey, I think that's a great try. I think this is maybe why you gave that answer, but really this is, or, call in another student and then explain why that was the better answer. Right answers, don't be like, oh my God, you're like amazing. You are like the only kid that has ever done this reading, because then that kind of like that, what? No, you want to expect all kids to have the right answer, but like, hey, great job, and then done. Just kind of keep it one and done like that. So our main idea here is getting it wrong and then getting it right is one of the fundamental processes of schooling, right? If the kids knew everything already, we have no jobs. And so if they get it wrong, it's okay. And if they get it right, great. Then we want to give them something else they don't know, right? So respond to both parts of the sequence, the wrong and the right, is completely normal because, of course, they are completely normal. So this concludes our video presentation of Chapter 7, Building Character and Trust in your Teach Like a Champion book. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation and have a fabulous day.